Welcome back. Today we have invited a guest to talk about his experience with N-Powerment Nursing. Welcome, Adam. How did you hear about us?
Oh, I heard about you a few different ways, actually. On Facebook was kind of one of the ways I heard, but I also heard through nurses that I was doing my clinical placement through school. So I was talking to them, I was asking what they did for their registration exam, and they said N-Powerment. So I really trusted their opinions, so I went and bought it right away when I knew I was ready. So yeah.
Great, that's awesome. So you recently attended one of our live reviews. So we do have live as well as online reviews. Adam recently joined us on 2 separate weekends. We held a live review in Windsor, Ontario. So we thought it'd be a good idea to bring him here to talk about his experience. It's a pretty broad question, but would you be able to talk about maybe what the benefit is of N-Powerment Nursing? Like from a perspective as a whole, what did you find that really stands out in terms of beneficial with the package and with the teaching kind of as a whole?
My favorite part is that it takes all the different concepts and all the different body systems, pharmacology. There's so much, but it ties everything together. Like I found the cue cards match things in the textbook, and the textbook has the one-pagers at the back. So there's a portion at the back that has all different, a summary almost of the most important concepts, and they tie into all different chapters: cardiac, renal, GI, so all different things. I love that. It's all tied in together.
So it kind of takes like the whole body and all of its kind of separate compartments and all the classes and how they're taught kind of separately and sums it all up nicely.
Yeah, it's a great summary of everything, but it's still really detailed, which I love. So
that's awesome.
Really good.
Can you comment on our teaching techniques?
Ooh.
Teaching techniques. You both are amazing. I loved, I watched the video review as well, and I just love the way that you both teach certain concepts. Cardiac, for example, I just love. It makes it exciting. It makes it fun and easy to remember, which I find that's one of the harder things for me is cardiac. And I've never found that anyone else has ever, even on YouTube, like watching videos, I find I just don't grasp things the way that I do with your teaching style. So it's just very different than anything else I've ever seen or experienced.
Awesome. When you first came to our live review, so the live reviews we hold are over 4 days, 4 full days, so about 32 hours of content review. And then you get 30 days online access as well. With the online review, which is essentially the live review online, you get 90-day access. So how did you feel, if you could take us back to like the first day when you first came to the live review? How were you feeling that morning when you received your course? And
I remember driving to the course, and I was really, I was anxious. Mm-hmm. That was the one thing. I had a lot of anxiety. I didn't know, at first, I didn't really know what to expect. I didn't know what I was going to do, how I was going to do it. And, I was anxious. Mm-hmm. So, and I think a lot of people experience anxiety around these tests because they're big tests.
Yeah.
And they're scary.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The unknown, right?
Yeah.
How did you feel on the last day 4 of the in-person live review?
That was, I loved that we do at the beginning we write down a word and then we write down a word at the end, and it kind of compares how we felt at the beginning and how we felt at the end. Mm-hmm. And it was just so positive. I loved that. Like everyone was just transformed after the 4 days. But I felt like the one where I stuck to was supported. Mm-hmm. So I felt supported through everything. I didn't feel alone. I didn't feel like I was just taking a course and I'm just going to learn the material and it's just a course. Mm-hmm. This is like totally different. There's so many aspects to this program that are so important, and there's nothing really else like that out there. Mm-hmm. So.
That's amazing. We take, you probably noticed on our Facebook page, for those of you watching, the group that Adam partook in this past live review, we always take a selfie with our live review groups, and it just brings us such joy because you see how even after 32 hours of going through content, and everybody should really theoretically be like overwhelmed and, you know, oh my goodness. But everyone's happy and smiling and positive and inspired, and it's just so joyful to kind of see that transformation from day 1 to day 4. So our next question, now that I've lost my place here, is kind of about that. So at N-Powerment Nursing, it's not just about the content. The content obviously is here in the textbooks and the cue cards, but we do a lot of coaching around emotional readiness and kind of exam day and what that day is going to play out like and how you're going to feel on that day, things you're going to say to yourself. And honestly, we've found that the majority of graduates don't even realize that they need that. Even on day 1 of the review, when we kind of start with a little bit of the emotional preparatory stuff, people are kind of like, like, is this really necessary? They kind of want to dive into the content. But I think by the end of day 4, they realize the importance of it. So can you talk to your experience in terms of how emotional readiness is such a focus of our program and what that means for you?
Yeah, that was the most important part for me, is the emotional readiness. And I had some idea that, yeah, I probably will have to be in a mindset that's going to be positive, but I really didn't understand everything to it to get yourself ready for that day, to prepare yourself for what's going to happen if you do get anxious on test day. I didn't really think of that. You don't think of that. You just think you need to know the content, and if you know the content, you'll be fine. Well, even if you know the content, like you have a panic attack, you're not going to remember. So the emotional readiness was huge. And like I said, I just felt so much support, and that was key to it. So fantastic.
Awesome. Tell us about your experience with our video library.
I love the video library. It's my thing. I'm a big visual learner. So I love watching videos. But your videos are very different than any other videos. Like, I feel like I'm there with you. I laugh with you. When you tell your stories, I'm attached to the computer. I watch it with my friends. I watch it with my mom. I love that. But I also like that you can pause, you can fast forward, you can rewind, so you can really grasp things that you don't understand, and things, if you already understand, you just want to skip over, you can, which is awesome.
Yeah, it's hard for us to kind of articulate, because I know for me as a student, any online anything I didn't really gravitate towards, because if it's kind of self-directed learning, or if the videos are boring, I hate to label it boring, but if it's a person that's just sitting kind of talking and you have to take notes, I really couldn't get down with that. It just didn't work for me. But how it kind of aligns up with the textbook, right? And then you follow along the videos with the textbook, and you're not having to take notes at the same time, and we're standing up and kind of teaching it actively. I find it's really different from most online programs, so I'm glad you've experienced that as well. How do you feel about the textbook and the cue cards? Can you talk about how perhaps important the cue card piece is? Because I don't think any other programs kind of combine the two.
Yeah, no, I really didn't think, I knew I was going to have to know lab values and from pharmacology, but I kind of thought, yeah, I'll write them down on a page and I'll just look at it and I'll remember it. I went through nursing school. I know I'll be able to know these lab values. No. No, there's a lot of lab values and things that you don't know, and that's what I love. It has everything you need, and it's one place, and you read it every day, and it just sticks with you. If you keep reading it and you keep reading it, it stays in your brain, and that's what you need for lab values. Can't really, there's no other way to really remember them or understand.
It's all of this is not going to be fun. Yeah. You just have to memorize it.
Oh, you know what? This is one of my favorite things to do every day. I find I like reading over cue cards. It's easy. It's something that you can take with you. You can be in the doctor's office and you can be reading your cue cards. You can, if you're in the car waiting for someone, read your cue cards. That's what I like about it. I mean, you can still bring this around, but I really like the cue cards a lot. So.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Great. What was your favorite chapter?
Oh, that's really hard. There's so many. I have my book. I have all my chapters labeled here. My favorite would probably be between cardiac and maternity would probably be my two favorites, which is really weird because I didn't hate it. I never hated it. I just wasn't comfortable and I didn't feel interested in the subjects. And I found cardiac really hard for me. I found maternity a little bit easier, but cardiac I had such a hard time with. And it's easy in these books, which like blows my mind. It blew my mind. Like during the live exam, it was like literally, that's what I did.
I actually saw you do that once in the live review.
I was
He went
like, what? Like, it's crazy. I was on a telemetry unit for my placement, and I didn't understand certain EKGs. Now I do after reading this. Like that is crazy.
Yeah, and what's interesting with cardiac is that it's the subject kind of most students do struggle with, and it comes back up in so many areas, right? It comes back up in pharmacology because of all the cardiac meds. It comes back up in like you can't run away from cardiac system, right?
Yeah.
It's such an important system. Where am I here? Can you talk a little bit about how you feel in terms of the value of the program? Is it priced appropriately? Like, would you say you're getting the value in terms of what you paid for the program and what it's delivered?
Oh, like 110%. Because like I was kind of shocked at the price of it, to be honest. Because I just found there was so much you're getting for this. Like, I took the live review, so I got 4 days of in-class live review, plus you get the videos, plus you get this whole textbook that has like all of this in it, like plus you get all these cue cards, plus you get these two. Like, it's just there's so much you get, and I was just
two for the price of one.
Yeah,
right?
literally. And you guys always have coupons. Like right now, you guys have the $100 off coupon, which is amazing. Like, it's just It's a great price. So
we've had a lot of people say, when you consider the price of, not to say that this is any replacement textbook for any nursing course, which of course it isn't, but we've had a lot of people say, like, when you consider the cost of any textbook, like throughout your degree, it's pretty well priced in terms of its value.
For sure. Like I call this my nursing encyclopedia. So that's what I call it, because it literally has everything, and I know I'm going to be using this for the rest of my life. So
that's wonderful.
It's definitely worth it. So
that's awesome.
Awesome. I think this is our last question.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
What would you say to the folks who are watching, who are unsure about empowerment nursing? What would you say to them?
Take it. That's what I would say. I would say, like, if you're unsure about it, there's the free trial online, which is like, why wouldn't you try it? It's free. Like, just do it. I think, like, even for students that aren't taking the NCLEX yet or the CPNRE, just try it. You can see what it's like. It's cardiac, right?
It is, yeah.
So that's one of the most important systems. So why not learn it now? Try it. You can see if you like it. You get to see what their teaching style is like. It's just the perfect idea. But check out their website. They always have questions and stuff on their Facebook page. So I like reading those because you kind of get a grasp on how you guys teach it and how you guys help us understand the content. So
yeah. It's really difficult, I think, and understandably so. It's really difficult for kind of like an audience that's maybe coming across this on their Facebook page that has no prior affiliation with us. It's really hard for people to trust any resource. So we understand that. So we hope by bringing you here today, that kind of the audience at large can see perhaps that we're trustworthy, right? And we're here to support their learning. So that's it for today. If you have any questions that you'd like to ask Adam, I'm just volunteering him up for this. We didn't talk about this previously. But if you have any questions, you can put your questions in the comments and we'll have Adam answer your questions if you want to know about his experience. We gave him a hat, so hopefully he'll be okay with that. So if you throw up your questions in the comments, let us know where you're watching from, and we'll give you a first-hand experience, because sometimes you got to hear about it from the end user to trust us with your journey. So thank you so much for coming.
Thank you, Adam.
It's absolutely been our pleasure to be a part of your journey, and we will continue to be a part of your journey as we do stay with individuals until they succeed. So thanks so much for joining us, everybody out there in Facebook land. Feel free to like and share this video, and you have a wonderful day and stay empowered.